Come on now, it's 2021. Shouldn't this be called the Door Person?
What's a decorated soldier doing here as a doorman?
The Doorman was released just a couple of weeks ago and is out now on DVD and digital from Lionsgate UK. It was directed by Ryuhei Kitamura and written by Lior Chefetz, Joe Swanson and Devon Rose. And it stars Ruby Rose and Jean Reno. After returning from combat, a woman takes a job as a doorman of an apartment block. Her old skill set is put to the challenge when a gang of thieves plots to raid one of the apartments. Welcome back to Game Over Movie Reviews. My name's Peter and this is my movie review of The Doorman. My thanks to Witchfinder PR and Lionsgate for the screener for this film, my first ever screener review on the channel. I wasn't familiar with director Ryuhei Kitamura's name, and looking at his list of work, I don't think I've seen any of his films before, though I am familiar with 2008's The Midnight Meat Train and Versus from 2000. These films and the body of Kitamura's work as a director and a writer, mostly in the realms of action and fantasy horror, look very different from The Doorman. This film is essentially a combination of Die Hard and John Wick with a female protagonist. Unfortunately, The Doorman doesn't stand up to either of these action classics in any department. But I'm going to start with the positives and the things I did like about The Doorman. At 1 hour 37, it doesn't outstay its welcome too much. I actually thought they could have trimmed maybe 20 minutes off the runtime, but still, it's a fairly short film. Axel Hennie, who plays Bors, the kind of henchman muscle to Jean Reno's apparent brains, is actually really good. He's really going for it and gives a very likeable performance as the kind of sub-baddie. And in general, The Doorman knows what it's trying to do and what it's trying to be, an easy-to-watch action film with no pretense to be anything else. Have you seen The Doorman, or are you planning to watch it? And what's your favourite brain into neutral type action movie? Let me know in the comments below. If you're at the door and considering coming inside, please click on that subscribe button and I'll be happy to let you in. And if you like this video, please like this video. Unfortunately, there's a great deal about The Doorman which just didn't do it for me. Firstly, the writing of the characters and the performances are extremely flat. Axel Hennie is the only person who comes out with a little bit of credit. Ruby Rose, while she handles the physical side of the role really well, her performance and character was totally lacking in charisma or just that little spark which makes you want to root for her. I think filmmakers see a film like Die Hard and believe it works because of its action, but Die Hard's greatest strength is its characters. Good or bad, they all feel fleshed out. You feel sympathy for their plight because of how real they feel. John McClane is not a complex character, but through simple writing and a performance full of charisma, you're always rooting for him. And the opposite is true of the villains. They're not just baddies who want to do bad stuff. They also have quirks and nuance. Sadly, The Doorman has none of this. I don't really like to give actors too much of a hard time, but there are no great performances here, and I do question whether Ruby Rose has that leading lady star quality. And Jean Reno is clearly here for a paycheck. How far the mighty have fallen. Leon is one of my all-time favourite films, and to compare Reno's performances from that film and The Doorman, it almost feels like he's lost the love for acting. I know the source material's not the same, but come on, man. And on the subject of source material, the writing in The Doorman is very by the numbers. I've never seen so many Chekhov's gun-style plot points delivered in an early scene like this. In one short early sequence, the teenage son of the family being targeted by the thieves explains that, number 1, he knows the blueprints of the entire building for some reason. I wonder if that will feature later in the film. Number 2, he knows all about the multitude of secret doors and tunnels that the building has. I wonder if that will feature later in the film. Number 3, he points out a cemented up entrance to an old subway tunnel under the building. Do you think this might feature later on in the film? And number 4, just like every teen these days, he knows Morse code. Yep, I think that might feature later in the film. For a simple action film, it's a bit of a drag that takes 36 minutes before any action actually kicks off. The Doorman spends a lot of time on setup with not a lot of it really paying off later on in the film. It really should have got to the kicking and punching quicker. Finally, in a big rooftop scrap towards the end of the film, there is some glaringly awful green screen in the background. I'm guessing it was a lot cheaper to shoot this on a studio rather than on location, but it makes a big standout moment stand out for the wrong reasons. In summary, The Doorman is one of those action films where you can just put your brain into neutral and watch people fight each other. And if that's what you're after, you can probably do better than The Doorman, but I dare say you can do worse. Unfortunately, the characters, writing, performances are all very underwhelming, and this has all been done better before. The action and fight scenes are okay, but really pale into insignificance when compared with other modern contemporary films such as the John Wick series, which coincidentally also stars Ruby Rose. My score for The Doorman is 3.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching.
Game over, man. It's game over.